Who says Warlocks are better with books than with guns? Okay, it was me. But I was lying. Rage is an excellent motivator.
So you're weird. You like Destiny PvP. Your friends don't, but you're the masochist who does. So you've come seeking guidance on how you can get better without sacrificing your sanity. Well, you have come to the right place. This guide is going to go over things like positioning, game sense, and decision making, since Destiny rewards those who are patient. Sure, you can get a couple of cheap kills by surprising an enemy and endlessly running forward, but over the course of a full match, those tactics are not going to work. I actually struggled majorly with the PvP in this game since I grew up playing exclusively Call of Duty. Destiny is a much different animal, and you have to approach it differently if you want success. So in this guide, I'm not going to say things like, get the best guns and perks, or play the meta, or get good, scrub, since those just really aren't helpful. If you want to grind 40 hours a week for those weapons with specific perks, you're more than welcome to. But in this video, you're going to see that I primarily use a Peace of Mind pulse rifle and some combination of a punching out pistol or without remorse shotgun. These are legendaries that are common and pretty easy to get. Let's do it. Tip number 1, stay with your teammates. Look, we all know the guy. You know, the one who immediately runs to the enemy spawn with the shotgun, thinking he's Jesus incarnate and can 1v6 the entire team. Well, gets murdered repeatedly, then quits 3 minutes into the match. Don't be that guy. This is the number one thing you can do to be more successful in Destiny 2 PvP, and that is staying with your teammates. Destiny rewards patience, positioning, and team shots, so you're going to have an exponentially higher amount of success if you stay with your team and shoot at the same person. Typically speaking, the first person to make a mistake usually loses whatever gunfight you're in, so if you're with your team shooting together, the likelihood of you being the one who dies drops drastically and raises the chance of the enemy in your sights being the first to make a mistake. Like, you know, trying to fight a 2v1 when they should be running, or getting out of the open and back into cover. The last thing I want to mention here though, before we move on, is to make sure that when you're with your teammates, you're not all looking in the same direction. If you're all looking in the same direction, this is an extremely easy way to get supered and get all 6 of you wasted all at once. So if you're with most of your team, make sure that you're watching other lanes too to protect yourself. Tip number 2, pick your battles wisely. Look, sometimes you just make a mistake. You're having an amazing game, you're waltzing through a whole team without any resistance, and suddenly you find yourself face to face with 2 enemies by yourself. What do? Well, you can run, or you can fight. Logically, you'd say, Jello, I'm getting my ass out of there, and that would be the correct move. But when you're in the moment, it's much easier said than done. There is no shame in disengaging from a battle you're not going to win. This goes double for if you're in a 1v1, an enemy takes off your shields and you've missed every shot. Here's an example in the video of me practicing what I preach. I come around the corner smack dab in the sights of a sniper. I've got 2 choices, run or fight. The correct choice here is to run since he's already hard scoped on this lane. If I try to pull my gun up and shoot him, I'm already dead. I went ahead and took it one step further by sliding and making myself harder to hit so he couldn't get a headshot on me, but the point here is that I picked my battle correctly and I lived to fight another day. Alright, I'm going to say something controversial here, and that is Destiny rewards camping. There, I said it. It's the truth and I'm going to stand by it even if it seems cheesy. Destiny rewards you for camping, and I would recommend you take advantage of that system, and let me explain what I mean. The idea in this game is that you're not necessarily staying in one spot, hard scoped, like a camper might. You're patrolling an entire area. The reason why this is so powerful is that it forces you to stay with teammates, it forces spawns to be in one place, and it forces you to stay in one area. Usually that area is the high ground, so to speak.
I have the high ground!
if spawns are forced to be in one area, the reality is you're just going to farm the enemy. Ethically challenging as it might be, it will pad your numbers and help you win. Tip 4. Know when to push and when to hang back. Almost always in Destiny PvP, engagements are going to be for just a few seconds and you only get one chance to make the decision on what to do. So what do you do if your team's shooting someone but they get away? Do you rush them? Do you stay back and wait? Do you let them go? Well, the easy answer is that there's not actually an easy answer to this, since each engagement is different. You'll need to take into account a lot of factors like, do I have an advantage in shielding? Do I have an extra teammate that will push with me? Am I crossing into the enemy spawns by following this enemy? Will I be giving up the advantage of my weapon type by following him into a dark corridor with no cover? If you can't answer most or all of these, you're likely going to want to resist the urge to push and just let the enemy go. The person that makes the first mistake in these encounters almost always loses. It's very rare that you make a mistake and don't get punished for it in Destiny. You can get away with stuff more in Call of Duty, but in Destiny you can't. Tip 5 is going to be one of my favorites, and that's getting slippery. So what I mean by that is making yourself harder to hit, and this comes in many forms and depends on the map terrain, your weapons and armor perks, and your class. Let me explain. So the first thing is going to be head glitching, which you'll see here in the video in the background. It's a popular strategy where you can use the terrain to hide most of your body except just the very tip of your head. When this happens, you can still see the enemy clearly, but you have an extremely small box to hit. You can use this at the bottom of stairs, behind rocks, small walls, etc. You can get creative with this to truly be annoying to the enemy. And then on top of that, you've got things that classes can do on their own. For example, hunters have a dodge which can turn them invisible, and that naturally makes them harder to hit. Warlocks are able to float in midair and can surprise opponents by being up in the air when they come around corners, or you can slide around corners, allowing you to get the first shot. Titans have a bit of a disadvantage here since they're a bit more bulky of a class, but they can also use the air method or head glitch to make themselves harder to hit as well. Tip number 6, resetting the distance. Resetting the distance is not a term that I've coined, but it's an important strategy to have in your arsenal. Let's say, for example, you've got a pulse rifle and a bow, so longer range weapons. You're in a long hallway, but this hallway has places to hide, and a Titan is W keying straight at you with a shotgun. Well, you're not going to win at close range, are you? No, the Titan's going to shred your lettuce. So instead, if you're able to back up and get some distance between you and this Titan, or reset the distance before you engage again, you can turn the tables on him and win the fight at a distance that's more advantageous for your weapon. Notice in the background video, none of the targets ever really get close to me. That's because I'm purposely keeping them at the perfect distance for my weapons. Here is my 7th and final tip for you, and that is knowing the map and looking at your radar. As simple as something like this is, you'd be surprised the amount of times I've come across someone who doesn't seem to know I'm coming around a corner. It is paramount to know where you can aim around corners to get an advantage on players out in the open, which will earn you a couple of easy kills every game. Now, I'm not going to go over aiming around corners here, but this could be its own tip. Aiming around corners is aiming down your sights before you come around a corner so that you're ready to fire if there's somebody there. And then also, you need to have at least some sort of idea where the enemy is so you can aim towards that lane before they actually come through the lane to attack you. If you never look, you're going to be lambasted by enemies moving at high speed, or you might find yourself out in the open when you shouldn't be. Thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it, guys. I hope you got something out of it and enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. Make sure you like and subscribe for the algorithm and so that I know that you like this content and want to see more. See ya.